In the moment, I told him, told the guys who was going in the game, told Tay to stay in it mentally, stay ready to go, and that was about the end of it right there. In that moment.
Why did you do it?
Why did I do what?
Bench him, or was it not your call?
It was a group talk we had, and like we have great expectations for Tay. Obviously, we drafted him in the first round. I know, like I personally went to visit him, spent time with him, came back here, talked to Joe, talked to Daves, and thought that he and I would do well together. So like I'm as invested in him doing well as anybody. And just didn't feel he has consistently played up to the expectations the organization has for him, drafted him where he is. So wanted to really get his attention, that we expect more, that and the thing is he's played really well in spurts. But what he has to understand, and what I know as a DB is, there's 64 plays in a game, let's say. There are 58 of them where you do a great job, nobody notices. But there's those other 6 or 7 where now that's all you're judged on, those plays when the ball is at me and I have an opportunity to make a play, right? And want to see him in those moments be brighter, be bigger. That's why we drafted him, right? That's what I know he has in him, and I want him to do it consistently and at a high level all the time. And he has it in him to do it, and it's my job to get it out of him. Right? Again, I'm raised my hand and said, yes, draft him. I want him. I love him. Right? And so when that happened to him, happened to me as well. We're tied at the hip, he and I. And it wasn't good enough by him, and for that reason, wasn't good enough by me. I expect more out of me. Right? So just such high expectations for the young man. And consistently pushing him to reach those expectations we have and where we drafted him and what we all think of him.
Shane mentioned yesterday that there was some tackling. He had kind of referred to why in particular did you guys bench him? That there were some tackling concerns in those first 3 drives.
Well, again, there was multiple things, okay. And multiple reasons. And at the end of it, again, we expect more. And I expect more from me too. Like it's not just him, it's me.
Take us through the week before.
In that situation, how hard is that for a team, for DB room?
Oh, you never want to do that, ever. You never want to do that. What my hope is that he and I look back at this moment one day in the future and see the growth that came from it, and where he goes after this point, because of taking something away from him.
I think the obvious question would be, coming out of the Philly game, why not have just benched him to make the point before you got into the Steelers game?
And again, every game is different. Every situation is different. When you look at the Philly game, we had lost corners early in the game. We're like holding our anatomy to get out the game and just continue to play. And right there, it was a situation where I'm like we were already rotating guys at the other corner position just because of injuries in the game and guys playing special teams and that demand on them, and there's a lot going on.
No, I'm not saying in the Philly game. I'm saying after the Philly game, it was a big topic going into the Steelers game. You guys could have benched him, you didn't. So I'm just curious, why you gave him that faith in the Pittsburgh game, which obviously wasn't rewarded.
Yeah, we again moved on from that, talked to him about it again, moved on from it, and again, we're going into that Pittsburgh game thinking we're going to give the New York Giants the best chance to win. We thought Tay being on the field to start the game gives us the best chance again. And again, for him, what he's got to understand is those 48, 50 plays where the ball's away from me, or I cover my guys so well, the quarterback just looks away, which there's been a lot of that. You guys don't care about that. You care about the 6 plays where the ball's at him and he's got to make it, or the 1 play where he didn't give the effort that he needs to, right? And it's my job, again, to get him to understand the importance of his draft position, our expectations of him, what he can provide for this team. And it's he and I got to get it done.
Coach, but is he getting the message? Do you feel he's getting the message? Because we've been through this a few times. Please understand my question. And now we're talking about it again weeks later. So you, a guy who played this game at a high level, okay, is he getting the message? Because when you hear Brian Burns in the locker room after the game talk about, hey, we got some maturity issues in this locker room, we all kind of figured maybe some guys he was talking about. So I'm asking you, Coach, is he starting to get the message? Or, you know, because it's getting to the point where every week you're talking to him about this.
And again, we'll see.
Right.
Like, again, I hope he does. We're going to try our best this week to go out and play our best game this week. All of us are going to try to do that. And hopefully this is the week where we do that and we go on. And then next time y'all have cameras in front of me, we're talking about something else. We're talking about how well he played and his growth.
Jerome, what do you think is the root cause of some of the bad habits you've seen from him here? Because I'm just speaking for myself. Like, I don't feel like I saw this from him last year.
Yeah.
So have you identified like where it comes from or why?
Right now, we're just working on, again, playing our best game this week and you know, a tough matchup against a divisional opponent who's playing their butts off. The quarterback's lights out, the receiver's lights out. It's going to be another big challenge for us defensively. It's going to be another big challenge for him. We're going to ask him to step up and be big for us.
Why are you guys continuing to start him? Why are you starting him this week?
Because we think he gives us the best chance to win. Like, otherwise, why would we not start him? Like,
I guess I just mean maybe just theorizing you keep him down for another week because you really want him to get the message. Or
well, again, I think and hopefully he got the message from the Pittsburgh game, and we moved on. Like, we're going to give him a chance to go out and show the player that he is.
What was the scene like on the sideline there after that Pickens play where, you know, there was some sort of altercation, like interaction there? How are you involved in that? How did he handle that?
Again, I immediately went to, all right, who's in the game? What's going on? What are we doing? After we had our discussions as coaches, I had to go get the guys ready to play. They're in the game, don't have time to deal with stuff like that. Then I'm trying to get ready for our next series out because you never know how quickly that's going to happen. So working on getting the guys that are in ready to go, who's playing what, who's playing where, how we're matching up, that type stuff. So I immediately went there. And then didn't really come back to it until like after the game, because trying to beat Pittsburgh at that moment, wasn't trying to worry about anything else other than trying to beat the Steelers.
You ever had a player like Dexter yell at your position group like that?
So what?
Have you ever had a player yell at your position group like that?
Oh yeah, players yell and scream all the time. And on the play, like actually that wasn't Tay's man. He was actually making a bonus play that actually saved us a touchdown. So that wasn't the reason for pulling him. That was actually a really good play because that wasn't his man. He fell off his coverage to go help on and just reacted and became an athlete and made a really good play that saved a touchdown for us. But like nobody knows that.
Well, we noticed that, but
yeah. Thanks for clarifying. But my question was going to be, what when you told Tay that you were benching him, what did he say? What was his response to you?
Again, I didn't. I said,
I guess when you
who's
informed
going
the
in the
group,
game.
he was informed.
Yeah,
Did he respond in any way?
I was talking to the group and getting the guys in, ready to go, and going through all, because not only like we got base, we got penny, we got sub, we got red zone, all these different groups. So I'm managing that process and making sure that I get the right guys on the grass, that we don't have to call a timeout, we don't get a penalty because we don't have enough, we got too many. All those things are happening. So I went right into kind of triage. Like, here's the issue I got to deal with now, is get the guys on the grass who are playing and get them caught up on what they need to do. And one of them happened to be his first game as a Giant that he played. So, like, I'm working on that right now because that, to me, is the thing that has to be done right now.
We hear how passionately you're talking about like your conviction in him coming in the draft and obviously work close with him. How challenging is it for you to get through to him, or just as a coach, like how frustrating or disappointing? Or
I mean, any time that we don't get success is frustrating as a coach, and I'm sure it is as a player. Well, I know it is as a player because you put so much effort into it during the week. Like, nobody sees the coming in early, staying late, how many walkthroughs we do, how many meetings we have, how many extra digging we do. And then when you do all that work and you don't have the results you want, it's painful. painful. I mean, like every week we lose. It's like a stab.
You kind of talked about the idea of how you feel accountable for him and vice versa in your relationship. You're attached to him. Is there also an accountability as a defense wide for teammates to understand how they're affecting other teammates?
Oh, absolutely.
You mentioned guys.
Yeah, we're all tied at the hip, and we play the ultimate team sport when you think about it. There's no free flowing in football like there is in other sports, because you got 11 guys who are going to go out, and all of them have 11 different jobs on every play, right? And then we have offense, defense, and special teams. And so it is the ultimate team sport, I think, because I have one job to do on this play, and then we stop, and then I got one job to do again on the next play. It's not like basketball where it's free flowing and one guy can just see something and make a cut, or soccer where the ball's moving and we're just reacting. It's very scripted, and so we are accountable to each other.
Jerome, what are your coaching points for the safeties tackling wise on the back end right now?
Keep your eyes up. Don't stop your feet. I think a lot of the times when we miss tackles, we're getting a wide base, right? And now it's like if that bench right there, if I'm a running back and I put a move on that bench and it's stationary, it's really easy to put a move on the bench because I know where it is and it's going to stay there. It's much harder when I keep coming and I have my body under control and my feet under me, and now I don't know what that bench is going to do. So, like, we're getting wide, basing up, and then stopping, and then also ducking our heads, which we've got to clean up.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, Jerome.
Thank you. All right.